teachers' party list. We now proceed to the Ombudsman, represented here by Attorney Rafanan. Attorney Rafanan, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good afternoon to the chairperson and the members of the committee. With the permission of the Honorable Chair.
Pakilapit lang yung mic, please.
With the permission of the Honorable Chair. The Office of the Ombudsman extends its appreciation to the Honorable Committee for giving this opportunity to ventilate on certain relevant matters, and as we look forward to future collaboration with the intended passage of the bill. Honorable Chair, the office would like to manifest that it welcomes this initiative or mechanism in assisting or helping the Office of the Ombudsman in going about the investigation and prosecution of this infrastructure corruption of this magnitude and of widespread nature. In view of the limited resource personnel and of the Office of the Ombudsman, this ICAIC would be a welcome development in terms of strengthening the existing mechanism and allowing the full swing investigation of the pending subject cases. There are only as of two points, Mr. Chair. One point is the granting the power of the Commission the authority to directly file a complaint. The Office of the Ombudsman recommends that if the Commission finds it complete in terms of the substantial elements and other requirements of a complaint, the Commission may as well be empowered in directly filing an administrative complaint or a criminal complaint or even a civil forfeiture complaint for purposes of administrative adjudication, preliminary investigation, or preliminary examination akin to preliminary investigation, respectively. As it is, Mr. Chair, I think the existing commission has no explicit authority, and it can only recommend to the Office of the Ombudsman the conduct of prosecution or administrative adjudication. This will help in speedily processing the cases or matters subject of the investigation if the Commission is empowered as well to draft the complaint or to directly file and not just recommend to the Office of the Ombudsman. If the report or the recommendation is brought to the Office of the Ombudsman, the process is that the Office of the Ombudsman would refer the case again to fact-finding investigation and for the formal drafting of a complaint to be signed by the nominal complainant of field investigator. If an investigator under the commission would be empowered in the same resolution report or authorized to represent the commission as a nominal complainant, then that investigator will be authorized to sign the complaint as nominal complainant, and then it would be upon evaluation of the office, and if it sees that it is complete in form and substance, it will go directly to preliminary investigation or administrative adjudication or for future proceedings as the case may be, Your Honor. This would help in speedily move forward those cases, Your Honor. And I think this direct filing is mentioned in House Bill HB 5699, and it might be good to harmonize the two provisions, Your Honor. The second point, Your Honor, is the matter of scope and coverage. The Honorable Representative De Lima recognized a while ago the constitutional mandate of the constitutional agencies, such as the Office of the Ombudsman. The straightforward scope and coverage found under HB 5699 is well taken, Your Honors. As to HB 4453, there appears to be a kulatilla on matters already pending investigation by other investigative and prosecutorial agencies. And the Office of the Ombudsman respectfully manifests that this expanded scope or coverage on such detail might pose
Attorney Rapanan, please, pakilapit lang yung mic, hindi namin marinig dito, please.
Yes, Your Honor. The inclusion of a referral clause, Your Honor, under the second paragraph of Section 6 HB 4453 might pose operational challenges and create further delay in terms of the cases already being investigated by the Office of the Ombudsman if this pending matter would still be referred to the ICA-IC. It is in a scenario of parallel investigation and complementarity of fact-finding that where it is best seen to effectively aid in moving the cases forward. After all, the result of the ICA-IC investigation would eventually be referred to the Office of the Ombudsman for further administrative adjudication and preliminary investigation. The Ombudsman does not support such clause insofar as it creates another layer of those cases already being handled by the Office of the Ombudsman. And this might also raise confidentiality concerns when it comes to results of pending investigation that the Office of the Ombudsman already has in its possession, and that the ICAC may want to cover or be included in its investigation, which is public in nature. And as we know, the nature of a fact-finding investigation is it is confidential, and it might unduly hamper the availability of documentary evidence and the other witnesses that the Office of the Ombudsman still seeks to reach out or to subpoena, Your Honors. And under Section 15A of RA 6770, it is well to note that the Ombudsman has primary jurisdiction over cases cognizable by the Sandigan Bayan, and in the exercise of his primary jurisdiction, it may take over at any stage from any investigatory agency of government the investigation of such cases. So it might be well to note, Your Honor, the coordination, the level of coordination and technical assistance between these two commissions. These considerations, Your Honor, might be submitted to the Honorable Commission, Your Honor. Mr. Chair, thank you very much.
Thank you, Attorney Rapanan. Can you submit your position paper? Because we're planning to consolidate these two bills tomorrow. Can you submit that tomorrow? Do you have your position paper
We
with you now?
undertake, Your Honor, to submit the signed position paper by the Ombudsman, Your Honor, as soon as possible, Your Honor.
Thank you. But before we proceed, we'd like to recognize Congressman Jesus Manuel Bong Suntay from the 4th District of Quezon City. Congressman, thank you for coming.
Mr.
Can I
Chair.
ask Congressman Lagman, as one of the authors, do you have any? Thank you. We now proceed to Omelette. We have the chairman here, Chairman Garcia, please.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair, Your Honors. The COMELEC is fully supportive of the creation of the ICAIC as a mechanism to enhance transparency and accountability in public infrastructure spending. We propose clarificatory language in House Bill number 4453 and House Bill 5699 that limits COMELEC's involvement to election-related offenses and maintains exclusive jurisdiction under the Constitution and the Omnibus Election Code. We recommend a memorandum of understanding between the COMELEC and ICAIC for information sharing and case referral without surrender of authority to comply with the prevailing privacy laws and limitations on data sharing. We suggest respectfully that the term designate in Section 10 of House Bill 4453 be amended to may designate subject to COMELEC approval to respect agency's discretion and resource limitation. As far as we are concerned, we are fully supportive, Mr. Chair, so long as this will not infringe on constitutionally guaranteed power of a constitutionally created agency such as the Commission on Election. Thank you so much, Mr. Chair, Your Honors.
Thank you, Chairman George Garcia, for that recommendation.
Mr. Chair.
May I request
Mr. Chair.
to submit your position paper, Chairman George?
Just a parliamentary inquiry,
Mark,
Mr. Chair.
you recognize.
Opo, since it's the Office of the President who created the ICI, at alam na po natin na ang pagbalangkas ng batas ay medyo matagal. Yung gestation period po ng pagpasa ng batas ay matagal. Just thinking out loud, Mr. Chair, naisip ko, ito pong mga proposed additional powers ng ICI na galing po kay Director Hosaka, ay magaganda po. Maaari po ba natin i-augment yung power ng ICI habang nagbabalangkas tayo ng batas? I-augment ang powers ng ICI through another EO habang inintay natin itong pagpasa ng batas na ito, itong ICAIC. Naisip ko lang po, baka kung magtatagal ang paggawa ng batas na to, baka pwede naman susugan through another EO para palakasin ang kapangyarihan ng existing ICI. Yun lamang po, Mr. Chair.
Quick reply, please, Attorney Saka. Just quick reply.
Your Honor, it is up to the Office of the President if and when it is actually legally possible to augment the powers of the ICI, in particular to dovetail with what we have suggested, because in our suggestion that is a legislative policy determination. But I also would like to state that based on a comment by a former retired Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, I think it was former Senior Associate Justice Antonio Carpo, wherein he stated in his interview that the powers of the ICI is the maximum powers or the best, in a way, yung pinakasagad na po na authority that can be granted through an executive order. But nevertheless, considering the recommendation of Representative Marcoleta, then perhaps that's a matter that has to be determined if it's legally allowable by the Office of the President or by the Executive. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, that's why we are enacting a proposal, because the Office of the President cannot grant coercive powers to the ICI. This is the very reason why we are actually enacting a law. And to abbreviate the proceedings, may I suggest, if we just consider the statements of the representatives from the different departments as their official position paper, as their official position in the discussion of this ICIAI. Thank you.
Thank you, Congressman Eraser.